like, how cute would this book be if these little faces came to life and danced? And then they made that happen. Started working through melody line. It's basically the book of the lyrics, right? They're just so boopable, so very, very boopable, boop, boop, boop. So, yeah.
The boop, boop, boop that gets me every time.
It came together. It came together.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Shafer on I Love This Book with Dr. Shafer, where I share with you books that I love and why I think you and your family will love them too. Today, I am sharing the beautiful Boopable by Mary Ann Redmond, illustrated by Kathy Moore Wilson. And I'm going to bring this closer because you may, from looking at the cover, have an idea why we call this Boopable, why Mary Ann decided to name it that, because look at that beautiful Boopable nose. And in a few moments, we are going to speak with Mary Ann about how she came up with the idea for the book, as well as the accompanying song, and why Boopable is such a wonderful book and truly a bop as well. Singer-songwriter and now children's author Mary Ann Redmond shares her delightful thought of how we can show our love and connection to the animals in our lives and in our imagination with a sweet, gentle boop on the nose. If you have an animal at home or grew up with one, you likely have memories that fill your heart to the brim. Mary Ann Redmond's story invites us to experience that feeling once again, while also making us think, what if we booped a different kind of animal? What would that make us feel? Would we dare to boop a tiger's nose? What about an elephant? These simple questions open up a world of opportunity for discussions with our young children about animals, the animal world, their behavior, and their characteristics. Conversation starters. Beautifully illustrated by artist Kathy Moore Wilson with whimsical watercolors that bring the animals to life. Boopable makes you feel like you really could boop an elephant on the trunk or boop a kitten, even if you can't in real life right now. When my little ones were little, and honestly, even still today, they love to get a gentle boop on the nose and to pass those along to their dogs, who they cherish and love to play with. Mary Ann, thank you so much for joining me today on the show. I love your book.
Thank you so much. That's the nicest introduction ever. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, this is the sweetest children's book ever. I really love it. It is so beautiful, and the simple way that it's stated really gives so much space for interplay between the reader when we're reading to young children who maybe can't read yet and our listeners so that they can join us in the story and even add along to it.
I love that it connects the adult with the child and the children, all of us with nature and different animals. The beautiful illustrations were done by my friend Kathy Moore Wilson, and a year previously she had asked if she could do an illustration of one of the foxes in my front yard that visits. And her name is Madeline, and that's how she ended up on the cover, because when this idea for the book downloaded, I'm like, oh my gosh, if only Kathy Moore Wilson would do the illustrations. And she agreed to, and I'm just over that moon right there. I'm over the moon about just how beautifully it turned out. Her illustrations are just so incredibly soulful. The eyes, it just draws you in. And without her, this book would have not have been as wonderful as it is, certainly. So, yeah, I'm very grateful to her.
An act of love and an act of community, as every children's book truly is.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. And community, as you mentioned, not only amongst people and families and artists and authors and musicians, but also between us and the animal world.
Exactly.
Looking at the animals in the book, are there certain real life animals that inspired some, if not all, of the characters?
So In 2018, we moved into this house. If you can see, it's a lot of nature outside. We're backed up to somebody's 5 acres of forest, and it's a beautiful area to be in. I had a juvie fox walk up to me in the front yard, and it kind of scared me because I've always been told, oh, you leave wild animals alone and they can be dangerous. This guy was just curious. He was coming up to say hello. We had a 5-year love affair. I named him Henri. And I'd sit outside. He would come curl up beside me, 6, 8 feet away. He'd never let me touch. He's a wild fox. But our connection was real. I am so grateful to this day for that connection. It made me look at squirrels and the whole universe outside of nature and wild animals so differently than I did before when I was just, I've got a dog and a cat. I've got 2 dogs and 2 cats. But yeah, it connected me to nature. And that's it. When my girlfriend, we were in the car, she's booping her dog named Bo, and I was like, that would be a really cute children's book. And she was very nice and said, Marianne, that's genius, which I don't hear a lot in my life. And so I went home and said, how do you write a children's book? And that's how it began. And then, of course, Kathy Moore Wilson came on board, and we got it done. We got it published, self-published, of course. And then from there, we wrote the song that went with the book, and then the animation came. So on the back of the book, there's a little QR code that goes to a song and the animation. Yay.
My goodness. I love that. And we are definitely going to talk about that for sure.
Okay, cool.
It's playing in my head as a soundtrack as we speak. I'm trying not to get too distracted, but it is so catchy.
It's hooky.
It is. Oh, it's got a great hook. It's a bop. It's a boopable bop for sure.
Yeah.
So, I think the magic of children's books is not only the way that they're written and illustrated and the important messages that they share, but also how they allow readers to share that message in an engaging and thought-provoking way with their audience. And when I read the book, I can easily think of questions to ask if I have a young listener or reader with me about the characters, their characteristics. What would they do? Would this be something they would try, or is that too scary? And why? So I wanted to ask you, as the author, what are some prompts or questions that came to your mind while reading the book that families or teachers could consider sharing with their readers?
I've learned more from the children that I've read to because they ask questions. And when the poem came up of, would you be smitten if you booped a kitten? And I was reading to this group of kids, and one of the kids said, what does smitten mean? And I'm like, that's a very good question. I think it means that you're in love with something, but just a little bit. And he was like, okay. Like he understood that explanation. But when I'm reading to them, they all want to boop the book, and it's magical. I've done kindergarten readings. I've got 2 more coming up in the next month or so that I get to go read to these children. And it's just to watch them and get involved and connect and realize that we're all connected.
Really, this resonates with me because I have a children's book as well. My daughter has a children's book actually featuring foxes.
Oh my gosh.
Foxes that was inspired by a fox family in our yard too. Isn't it wonderful how we take inspiration from our environment and create something with it? And how wonderful to inspire kids that they can do that too.
Yeah.
And as authors, when we get to go into their world, we learn so much from them as well. When we go to those school readings, they're so nourishing and fun.
Yes. Yeah, I love kids, and especially the young kids of that age that are so inquisitive. And I love asking the question at the end of, like, who's the most lovable, boopable creature of all? And the kindergarten class will be like, is it the fox? Is it the bear? Is it? And I'm like, it's you. And their faces go, me. And then I go around and boop them if they allow that. And we go from there. But it's a whole connection. It's a whole party. We put up the smart board and we play the song and they all dance and I dance with them. It's magical. It's so much fun.
Oh, it's so much fun. Because I've heard the song, and after our listeners are done listening to this episode, please go follow the QR code, listen to the song, go on YouTube. It is an absolute bop and it will get stuck in your head, but in the most infectious and delightful way. And I wanted to ask you today, what animal in the book do you find the most boopable?
Oh gosh. I'm a canine girl, so it would have to be, and no offense to my kittens and my cats. I'm fostering a cat and 7 kittens right now. But I would say either the puppy, because that puppy picture is actually a puppy picture of the dog that inspired the whole Boopable book. And of course, Madeleine, who was such a beautiful fox model that would come to my yard. I think she transitioned last fall. So they don't last long enough. You think domestic canines don't live long enough. Boy, the foxes, maybe 4 to 5 years out in the wild. So I miss my buddies. I miss them when they go, but they'll leave little babies that will come visit that look just like them. They grow up and look just like their parents. So they're adorable. But it also teaches you about ancestry and your own personal ancestry with your parents and grandparents and whatnot, and to be grateful for all that they've given us. And you watch it just in nature, how it happens.
A book like this is a great way to not only introduce children to nature and to the interplay between different species and how we can love and respect one another and hold space for one another, but also, like we said before, create that space for connection, because like you alluded to, those moments are so precious. So we know what are the most boopable animals. Perhaps what animals give you some pause when thinking about actually going in to boop them on the nose from the characters in the book?
The thing that I love when I'm reading to the kids, when I go, would you be scared to boop a bear? And they were like, yes, I would. And they were like, yeah, I would definitely. I've got some brains. And certain kids would be like, nah. Okay, I know it's a book, I'll do it. But they let you know which ones are the scary ones and which ones are the funny ones. And yeah, it's just, I love seeing it through their eyes. I think that's the pivotal point for me, for the magic of this whole shenanigans of putting a book out. I've never thought of myself as an author, book writer, but I live in that creative part of the brain with my singer-songwriter. And then when this came to fruition, I was just like, okay, this has to happen. This is honoring nature and our connection to nature. And this way it starts everybody on a young, same foot of connecting. I hope that's my wish.
That's certainly my experience. And I love the song that goes along with the book. It is absolutely infectious. Now, share how the song was born, because it's already quite a task to take on writing a children's book. That was something new for you, as you have shared, to become a children's author. What made you want to marry your life as a singer-songwriter, a very successful singer-songwriter? You've even written for Celine Dion in the past.
I was very lucky with one song with a co-write with Todd Wright that got picked up by Johnny Halliday. And he decided he wanted to do a duet. And when I offered my services, Todd said, I think they think it's somebody more like Celine Dion. And I said, because I speak English, they're like rolling their eyes. But I'm like, good luck with that. And 2 weeks later, we get this email, sit down. Celine has agreed to do the duet with Johnny. And in 2013, it came out on her double release CD and was second only to Adele's in France. So this was like the end of the CD sales, right? Because everything was going to digital. And so we got in on the tail end of it, and I'm very grateful for all of that. But when the book was born and the song, I knew it had to have like my girl that did the illustrations also has some animation game, and a gentleman that she's friends with did an animation for my band a few years before for one of my originals. And so it's just like, how cute would this book be if these little faces came to life and danced? And then they made that happen. I was driving along in my car. I heard a beat on the radio and I'm like, that's the beat. I just knew it was the beat for the song because it's very, fun to dance to. And then I went downstairs, and just started working through Melody Line. It's basically the book of the lyrics, right? So, and then I had some kids come over that did the rap in the middle of, do we boop because we love or do we love because we boop? We don't know, we don't know. They're just so boopable, so very, very boopable, boop, boop, boop. So, yeah. So it was,
It's the boop, boop, boop that gets me every time.
it came together. It came together. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And then you
Thank you.
don't do it usually the second time around. So it kind of keeps you waiting. And that's so brilliant because
Oh,
you're waiting for that next opportunity to hear the boop, boop, boop again. So it's brilliant. Like you said, it really hooks you. I absolutely
cool.
love it.
Thank you
Now,
so much.
you've oh no, thank you for bringing Boopable to us. I'm so excited and to share it with our audience.
My band might disagree with you because I do it on gigs now, and I'm like, we're going to do Boopable now. And they're like, oh god, they're wonderful. I don't mean to throw them under the bus. They were wonderful,
Oh no.
wonderful,
I mean,
incredible people.
when you're gigging and there are certain songs that you're kind of like, okay. But they're going to be a crowd pleaser and this one is a big crowd pleaser. So I apologize for introducing an earworm, but I don't apologize because it's worth it and it's going to be so much fun. And I
Yeah.
think also, when you're brushing teeth, like what a great brushing teeth song. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because the boop is kind of a part of that. So I always think about little ways. How can we connect with kids, get them excited about learning, excited about connection, and also a little bit distracted when we need to do something, right? Like get immunizations or brush our teeth.
yeah.
Are there little things that we can do that help us regulate because they're associated with such pleasant memories? And I think
I
Boopable
love
is one of
that.
those things that,
I
it
love
can just
that. Thank
be,
you.
yeah, something that you turn to.
You're much more attuned to books and children's books and how to create things with children. I don't have any kids of my own. I just knew I wanted to create this book. And through this book, I get to play with other people's children. So win-win.
Love
Yeah.
it. And I see what I see needing to happen. I think we need to have a boopable reel. I don't know if you've done this already where kids are, just singing it and they're booping each other. And if they're kids
Oh,
that want to be a part, how much fun would that be? And I can tell you my kids would be the first in line to be a part of a boopable reel. They would just
I
thrill.
love that idea. I would love that idea. We used to have a podcast. We don't have it anymore. But downstairs we have this video thing. So I set up both of my dogs, one which is a TikTok star. Actually, both of them have gone viral now. But I have them, they boop the book. They can boop the book. I read the book. I'm like, do boopable reading today. I don't have children of my own. So we have to ad lib a little here. And then we go back and they boot the book. So you got to make do. You just got to work with what you have.
You do, and it's so much fun. And I can tell you, we have 4 children and we have 2 big dogs. And my youngest was saying the other day, he said, "You have 4 children, Mom. Wow." And then he said, No, you have 6 actually. And I was kind of waiting. Who are we talking about? And then he said, Rudy and Prince. Yes, we have 6. We absolutely do.
What kind of dogs do you have?
So we adopted a elderly golden retriever from our neighbors, and he's just the love of our life. He's a big old goof. He's 105 pounds. So he's
Oh my
very
gosh.
boopable. He's very boopable. And then we have Prince, who's our puppy, and he was supposed to be a pug. They were breeding him to be a pug, but he ended up being a bit of a surprise. He's half pug, half Bernese mountain dog.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. How big
Yeah.
is he?
He's 55 pounds. The vet, they said, we don't know what's going to happen. We're just going to watch and see. And he's
Oh.
leveled out at 55 pounds. So he's so much fun. I bet he'd be jealous to know that your dogs are internet sensations, because he'll say, well, why not me, Mom? Like, Mom's doing other stuff, sir. But I need to get my act together. We'll
There
start
you go.
following.
Gotta
How do we
start
follow
working
your
it.
dogs on TikTok?
Well, TikTok is at Marianne's Menagerie, and on Instagram it's just at Marianne Redmond. But yeah, it's Indy. I've been teaching voice probably for 20 years now, but there was a point where I was teaching voice lessons and she'd want to join in with singing, and it was hurting my students' feelings. They were like, does she think I sound bad? Why is she howling? And I just kept shushing her. And then over COVID, I was so bored because I stopped teaching. I'm like, all right, Andy, come on, we're going to play. And we played voice, and I realized she can actually match pitch. Like I'll go bing, ho, and she'll go, oh, and she'll match the pitch. And I'll take it up a half step, bing, ho, and she's like, oh. I'll send you a clip. Maybe you can put it in here.
Yeah, I would love.
So you show people what she's doing.
And are you taking students? Should we put a little plug in for that too?
I have no reason to get any more students. I'm happy with the group that I have. If you really need some help with your vocals and are in the Northern Virginia area, sure, call me or, message me, and I'll be happy to help if you have a few things to work on. But I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to promote. I'm good.
You've got a lot on your plate. And
I'm doing a lot.
And that is one of the things that I think children's books are such labors of love. And that's why we're so excited to promote them and share them with the world. Because
you're so good.
They're born out of love. And I'm so grateful for you sharing Boopable with us today, and the story behind it, and the stories of your family and the puppies and their fame and your songwriting. It's all so beautiful. And I'm so excited that you were here today on I Love This Book.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, I share books that I love, and I think that book love is best when shared. I always say it's not like pie. You actually get more the more you share, unlike when you share pie, right? It's kind of like, oh, you lose your pie. But books are not that way. So in addition to the beautiful Boopable that was born in your mind and you've shared in this generous act of love, what is your favorite children's book?
Oh my gosh. Oh man. I would probably say The Night Before Christmas, because it brings back when my mother would read it to me as a child the night before Christmas, right? You would sit there and your mother would read the book to you, and the feeling of connection and love and being loved and the excitement of the next day. It's just a beautiful blanket of love that's mother and child, and I think that book is iconic, and it's just wonderful to have that memory. And I hope someday this will provide that memory for some children, just a little bit. I don't expect it to be that beautiful poem, but that's the key right there. It's the love that you share through them, right?
And you tapped into that. And I would say if you're a family that loves animals, as you can tell, this is actually my daughter's sweater. I borrowed it for today because she loves dogs especially, but animals in general. So we love animals. And if you're from a family that loves animals, I think Mary Ann really tapped into kind of how you shared why you love the book that you loved as a child, because it formed that connection. It really tapped into more than just the story, the feeling. I think that's something that you've definitely captured with Boopable, that feeling of connection with animals that you love. And that is something that we cherish throughout our lives, those connections we make. So I'm sure this is going to be a staple in your library. Now, Mary Ann, how can our listeners find the book and add it to their collection or gift it over the holidays?
Yeah, MaryAnnRedmond.com is my website. It'll take you right there. There's other websites you can get to it, Barnes& and Noble, different places that carry it, but Amazon is the easiest, so you can just look it up, Boopable on Amazon. It'll come right up.
Absolutely. That's where I got my copy, and it arrived
Yay.
really nice and fast.
You
and
should
then we
have
just
told me. I
enjoyed
would have
it.
sent you a copy. Oh my gosh. Oh my
I
gosh.
appreciate it, and I absolutely am so excited to support you and this beautiful book and the illustrator. Thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
It is such a pleasure to have you on the show. I know it's a busy world, and your book provides an opportunity for pause and connection, and I appreciate you taking a pause to share it with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And thank you to our listeners for joining us for another episode of I Love This Book with Dr. Shafer. What books do you love? Let us know, and it may just end up on the show. Make sure to share this book review of Boopable by Mary Ann Redmond with someone who loves books and loves to connect through literature. Keep reading, friends, and share the book love. See you next time on I Love This Book with Dr. Shafer.